Hey guys, what's going on? You're watching the Bitter Jury podcast. This is episode 38, and we're here today to talk about the winner of the HOH competition, who they put up, as well as basically a bunch of stuff that went down in the Big Brother 20 house. But before we do that, we have to introduce ourselves. My name's Kelly.
And I'm Jacob.
I'm also Kelly.
I'm Shaun, and I'm using my right brain for this whole thing.
Wow. Congrats.
I think it's really important that we point out that Shaun is back. Yay! I'm really excited about that. So, Shaun, what sticks out, because you caught up on the episodes like last night and today, what sticks out from you for this past week?
Okay.
That you're like, oh my God, I need to tell someone.
Oh man. Okay, so I don't know why it comes to my mind first off, but having the dynamic duo split up in the house, Brett and Winston, that was a tragic fallout that probably just was inevitable. I love Winston, and surprisingly, I love Brett. Brett's one of my picks, which I chose him as a redheaded stepchild. Created himself like silver lining book there. But I think what both children, one of them's not mine, one's yours, Kelly, huh? Winston's yours is that. Yeah. Well, both of those children did poorly on was managing their breakup and making kind of enemies of the house at that point, especially with the person that was HOH. And for some reason, I'm drawing a blank on who the HOH. Scotty. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So, like, after the nomination, when Winston and Brett came up and we're both like, well, we're going to put you up no matter what. So you just made an enemy out of both of us?
They're like, we're going to be the Terminators. And when we come back in time to shoot you, just know we're coming for you. But I will say, I love Scotty's perspective on the whole matter. Like, he didn't back down on his decision. Like, when they both came in there to intimidate him, he just kind of was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I totally get it.
He's like, I have reservations.
Like, I love, awesome. Like, he didn't say sorry. He was just like, okay, that's how you feel about it. Totally understandable. But yeah, it was Scotty did a really good job. Yeah, so I just wanted to throw that in there. Now you guys may continue this episode in the current state of affairs.
Oh man, there's so much that happened. Jacob, want to get us started?
Much. Okay, so we got to see one of my favorite versions of competition in the classic sort of endurance competition, and we got to see some people really struggle. The people that we thought were going to struggle really struggled. Fessy weighs way too much to succeed at this competition.
Angie Rockstar had no upper body strength.
Rockstar, yeah, that's what I'll say about Rockstar. She has no upper body strength. And I feel like she after last week's blow up with Brett, like that's where all of her energy was still like thinking of insults and writing her song, which will come later. And I feel like she got distracted by the genius of her micro penis joke, and
she was already cooking up for her.
Yeah.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Chris because he's saying hey, and he's missed us, and we missed him.
Texas.
Hey, Chris.
What's up, Chris from Texas? We love you.
Chris.
I'd like to say as of right now, because in the beginning of the podcast, I said that I would buy you a little Big Brother keychain if Zach, I think it was, went into the show, into the show, and he hasn't yet. So I do not owe you a keychain. Yeah,
that is true. He might still come back. We don't know. We don't know. They might throw in some returnees after jury, because could you imagine jury start Paul and Cody into the house?
I honestly
go ahead, Shaun.
I was just gonna say, I would say that the crap apps were the golden opportunity for that.
That's true, right?
I know, right?
Paul gets to come in and blow up your game for 48 hours.
Yeah. Just somebody that's been watching the feeds the whole time gets to just come in and...
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Oh man.
Just spread chaos. That'd be good. I want them to do that now. I just want them to bring in like a Ramses, somebody who like lives on the feeds and like just goes and tells everybody everything, and have like a whole game reset. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
There would need to be like some oversight or something, because they couldn't just have a direct link to somebody on the outside. But if they had like an earpiece and had to just say words that like were fed to them, like, now go up to so and so and say this, and it was voted on by America. It'd be so fun.
Oh, that's
That'd
great.
be awesome.
So yeah.
So the HOH comp.
So the HOH comp, we
Jacob, can you move your mic a little away from your mouth?
Yeah, sure. How's that?
Now I can't hear Jacob's sexiness. Son of a gun.
Oh well, I mean, I don't know what to do now. I mean, I want to be
Lick
sexy.
the microphone, Jacob.
Don't do that. That's behind a paywall. You have to pay to see that. Oh man. Anyway, so jeez, I'm all hot and bothered now. My goodness.
I'm bothered and I'm hot.
Yeah. Well, you guys live in Modesto, and that's awful.
It's like 108 degrees here.
You can be hot and bothered just by being by yourself and literally doing
even going to the mountains has a consequence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like there's a punchline there, but
guys, we need to do this. Like we were talking about the HOH, and I
so how awesome was Sam, you guys? Just like in winning, she started like just yelling, and everyone was Brett was remarking that he was turned on by her.
Oh yeah.
Which was creepy, but whatever.
You know, it seemed like it
was consistent
fit in with Brett's story.
That's right. But she pretty much shouted Tyler off the wall.
Yeah,
Tyler!
And he's like trying to be like strategic about it. He's like, well, I don't want to make it too obvious that we're working together, but she won't quit yelling at me. So I guess I'm going.
Oh man.
And then I mean, okay, Sam is everything that I love and hate about an HOH wrapped up into one human. I loved so much about what she did. Once she won that HOH, she's like, hey, this HOH room is my palace. You don't get to come up here until I let you come up here, and you can only come up here to poop. And and we won't.
We immediately left that part out of the episode.
Okay, so much of that conversation was about pooping. It was they left out all of it. Like,
oh man. You know, that's how humane Sam is. She's like, I will give you an honest place to poop.
Yeah, like she even said, like, you know, that's where some of the best thinking gets done, and everybody needs their time to, you know, be by themselves, and that's the best time to do it.
That's
but
so
you know,
sweet.
But yeah, she's like, hey, this is my castle. Nobody gets to mess with it. We're not even gonna talk about game up here. Like, there's no point. I'm not gonna talk about nominations. Don't ask me about it. I already have my mind made up. And then, you know,
I do want to say something that wasn't mentioned, but she did talk about. So you have like an HOH like basket survey that you fill out of the things that you want, and she put for every single answer, no matter what the question was, she said that she wanted whiskey.
Oh, that's
for every single thing she wanted whiskey. I don't know if she ended up getting it or not. But I feel hilarious.
She's super dead, right? Because alcohol's allowed in there.
She got whiskey and she got a bottle of wine, which she finished by herself on night one. And,
that's awesome.
And didn't feel a thing because it wasn't whiskey. So again, that is another thing that sort of reaffirms my love for this woman. She has an appreciation for whiskey over wine, which is.
Yeah,
that's always nice. But
she's great. That's definitely, it's an interesting, like, obviously I don't think that she was doing it for strategy. Sam doesn't really spark me as like the whole this is my HOH room,
right?
And it will stay my HOH room. Like, I have full control over it. I don't think it was necessarily the best move for her though. because like telling people, like, you want to be as inclusive as possible, that way you're not viewed as a target. And so by being like, even though she's not targeting anyone in particular, like, hey, you can't come up here, still having control over it, that makes it less inviting, so more people are like, I don't know, I have so many things going on.
I mean, she I think was doing that partly to protect herself, because she is one of the rare people who is playing an honest game and for the most part means it, and she's not built to do the politics and the backstabbing thing, and that HOH room maneuvering is not going to be her strong suit. So I think she was trying to just shut that off right off the bat. But she also needs to use this week to strengthen some alliances and kind of build some bridges with people, because she's only going to be HOH for a week. I don't think she did that part very well at all.
Yeah, I think she has some conversations, and we'll get to them after we talk about what was talked about in the episode. But she has some conversations that really make me concerned if I'm a fan.
Olivia, every podcast, man.
Every podcast, she's got that chew toy. She's like the mascot, you know.
I'm just gonna put it right here.
Perfect. But yeah, so I mean, the way that she talks to people is gonna bite her in the butt, I feel like. But yeah, she, you know, for the most part for this episode, we see her sort of exert some power in a way that is apparently very sexy to Brett. Brett's very turned on.
And very like dictatorship to JC.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I let the HOH dictatorship begin.
If we're all being honest, Caitlyn was way more dictatorship-like than Sam has been. Yeah. Like, if anyone should be called the dictator, it should be Caitlyn.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I want to say that Brett, yeah, Sam's not built for politics, but you know who is built for politics is Brett. Like, that guy is. I think Scotty said it best when he said that Brett has a lot of charisma, because Brett's really good at playing face, and I didn't think I would really fall in love with Brett during this game, but after his two speeches, I was like, this kid has some guile.
Yeah.
I was like,
you have
wow.
a bit of a crush on Brett.
I do.
It's totally fair.
His superpower is that he doesn't give a crap what anybody thinks about him, so he's willing to be, a dick to people and just own the consequences, and he can play it out. Forever.
I think Brett is going to be on the Republican presidential ticket in about 30 years.
If Scotty's not around, I might just accidentally vote for Brett, because I'll get charmed by him and find myself in a Brett hole.
Yeah.
As far as our drafts go, I gotta say, because I had access to Brett as my last pick, and I made a moral choice not to, because I thought he was a waste of human skin. But if he ends up winning and sort of being this charming, a-hole type, I'm gonna be really sad that
I'm gonna be really sad too. I decided to go for the bros, and I was like, you know what? I'll go for my future husband, and then that was the worst decision of my life.
That's usually
even if Brett gets out next week, I'm still gonna say it was the worst decision of my life.
Yeah, that's what most victims of domestic violence say, is like, I fell in love with his charm, and then I learned that he was a gun fanatic, and he shot my dog.
Oh man!
The dog. He found that the dog was, a fascist or something.
Oh,
yeah.
Or a commie, actually, more on his.
Yeah,
all right.
If you're,
commie, no.
But
yeah.
Wow, this episode has gotten off the rails early. It's totally cool.
That's what happens when Shaun's here.
Yeah, we're not
just
drinking.
pinned up.
But yeah, so we see Sam win the HOH, and then
Rockstar.
Oh yeah, we need to talk about Rockstar, and she's still pissed off about the blow up that Brett and that Brett said that she was the reason for the hinky vote, and she just lost her mind. and just came unglued. She's like, "How dare you make up a lie about me on my
On
daughter's
the day
birthday?"
before my daughter's birthday.
Which
To be
wasn't-
clear,
yeah,
it was
right.
the day before her daughter's birthday.
Which, by the way, shouldn't matter at all. Like,
Right? It's not a thing, and then it was also inaccurate.
yeah.
If anything, it's just an injury to insult on her part.
If you, I mean, you can maybe say, "How dare you do that on my birthday?" But that's a little bit weird and childish. But like, it would at least make a little bit more sense than my daughter's birthday.
Honestly, what would have made more sense is if she's like, "How dare you do this on Caitlin's dead uncle's birthday? The pigeon was right there."
That would have been, yeah. There's more of a connection to the pigeon than Rockstar's daughter. I feel like everybody knows about Grandpa Lou the pigeon.
Yeah.
But okay, so Rockstar loses her mind, and she decides that she's gonna go into the recent history bank of Big Brother and get the pots and pans out and start banging them and writing a song that is not very clever about Brett. She's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, at least we can come out now and say that we're best friends and lovers and in a showmance, and you have a micro penis." And
I think that my favorite one that she said was that you're secretly my baby's daddy.
yeah,
That one, when I was watching it live, like on the live feed, that made me laugh.
yeah.
So I was just like, oh man, that's clever.
It was funny. At least she had more of. It had more of like a song vibe to it than Josh's meatball thing did. I still hated it because if that's the one way to get under my skin if I'm in the house. If you start banging around pots and pans, I will lose my mind.
I don't know how Brett did such a good job.
Brett is my hero for like how he handled that.
Well, I mean, let's give him credit because this wasn't just like an unintended consequence of what he did. This was what he wanted to have happen.
Yeah.
Like, it worked so, like, he did this and it worked out exactly as he hoped. And it was a pretty great game move on his part.
And they didn't show it, but him and Tyler did that together. Like they planned to do that together. Tyler just had to keep his, I mean, they kind of showed like JC and Tyler were talking, but I believe that there was a conversation between Tyler and Brett about Brett making that speech. That way it would help take the target off Tyler.
And,
so it was just great overall.
Yeah, comment on production totally because I thought it was JC and Tyler that came up with the Winston Brett voting scheme there.
Yeah, the production totally made it seem like that JC was the one behind it, but in reality, Tyler went and told JC, and like those three are kind of starting to pal up a little bit, and they all want Caitlyn gone at this point. And that seemed to be a good way. And hey, it worked. I loved seeing.
Not me.
It didn't work for you.
No, it worked. I every time she's on the show, like she makes me feel good about myself. Like her spiritual guidance is definitely throwing me into a place that makes me like realize, wow, I'm a.
You're a what?
So
you're a what?
Good job,
Shaun. She makes you feel like you're a what?
Oh.
You cut out.
I'm cutting out. She makes me feel like a decent human being.
Oh
man.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
I'm cutting out.
It'd be a fun drinking game to take a shot every time Caitlyn uses the word literally incorrectly.
I would be dead.
I don't have alcohol poisoning, Kelly.
Yeah, I don't feel like I don't feel like dying because of Caitlyn's stupidity. But
watching her on Fantasy was great. She's like, it is literally making me physically ill. It's literally breaking my heart right now.
Okay, so yeah, we need to get into the Fessy Caitlyn fight because that's gonna matter for days. It really is. So Fessy, for his credit, is so mad about being blindsided
3 weeks in a row.
3 weeks in a row, and he's like trying to get to the bottom of it, but he's dumb as a box of rocks.
God, that poor guy.
I don't know.
You know what's interesting about him though? The thing about him is that usually guys that dumb, just float. They don't try to play the game as hard as he is, and he's really trying to play the game. It feels like,
but he's
like,
also
in it.
simultaneously confused by the
I
game.
know, it's really fun to watch, and people like JC played him so perfectly in that storage room. He just like totally played him like a fiddle. And
he's like, you are not gonna blow up. And this big dude is like, oh, okay, yeah, I totally am not gonna blow up.
And
But
it was
in that
really,
way, Fessy and Caitlin are sort of made for each other because the house, like the whole house, has figured out how to make both of them do whatever they want. It's really fun to watch.
You think that they would want to keep them in because like they know how to manipulate them so easily.
I will say this:
the only reason Caitlin is in any danger is because Tyler's so sick of her at this point. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just want to say, and just in face of like being a substitute teacher to another substitute teacher, this has only been like how many days in the house?
32-ish?
32. There's 180 days in a school year. Like if he's already freaking out, like in this situation, imagine what he's like as a substitute teacher, because Big Brother's kind of like that. It's like letting kids all over your back.
But
the
only difference is that you don't have to live with your students. If you had to live with your students, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. Yeah, for that amount of time, you would probably go insane. But yeah.
Well, no one told me I didn't have to live with them, so now I feel like an idiot.
You've been doing it totally wrong.
That's not how a substitute teach.
I don't. I'm telling the parents no next time.
Oh man. So yeah, this has been. I mean, the whole Fessy Caitlin blow up is. I was living for it. It was so great. It was. You're my best friend, and you think that I'd lie to you? Like, what is this? I'm just gonna go home. And they didn't even touch on that point. She like went to the diary room and asked to self-evict, and they were like, "No, you're not gonna."
No.
You're not. I'm pretty sure production told her like you're not gonna like what's out there. You better stay in here for a little while.
Oh my god, that is so awesome.
That's wonderful.
But yeah,
and also the fact that Sam had like not knowingly realized that she was having a breakdown. Like she says, "Who wants to see my HOH room?" Right in the thicket of things. Like
that was amazing.
That was awesome.
Edited. That wasn't even edited to look like that. It was right then when they were having their big blow up. Sam was like, "Who wants to see my HOH room?" And oh man, it became a mess.
I wonder if production sometimes holds them like for a minute and says, "Hey, you can go out in a minute." And they like wait for the light to grow up a little bit.
Oh,
they did that during BB18 when Paul and Nicole were having their huge argument, and then Corey came out to take off his Santa suit or whatever it was. They produced that moment, and I don't know if it was just good timing or like they might have held her back a little bit, but either way, good job to them.
Same thing with Angie and Tyler in the diary room, because Angie had her little pan tantrum.
Oh,
and
with the pots and pans.
Tyler was in the diary room. He's like, "What's going on out there? Can I leave? I'm going."
That was adorable. It looked like Christmas morning for Tyler. He's like, "Can I go out there?
Can I open my present, please? Can I? I've been good, I promise."
He did, like, during that whole pots and pans thing, he would do this thing where he would, like, look at the camera as if, like, he was Jim from The Office, being like, "Do you guys believe this is happening right now?"
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was
fantastic. Yeah, and then when he gave that thumbs up to the camera when Caitlin was in there, like, and she came up with her own story about the flip, the switch.
By the way, Caitlin is the world's worst psychic, for sure.
Yeah.
She is like the...
I don't know. I would pay good money to like have her be as good as she is in the house. Entertaining.
I would. Okay, so I'm serious. We brought this up a couple weeks ago. I would seriously be willing to all pitch in to get an hour of Caitlin coaching live on YouTube.
Throw my money away.
Yeah.
No, but we get to just roast her for an hour. It's so
Oh
worth it.
God!
It's so worth
I'll
it.
just
I
put
have a
some
feeling
roast
she
in
may
it.
not keep doing that job for long afterward.
Yeah, she's gonna go back to her
You know-
her tanning job.
Oh, she had a tanning job?
Yeah, that's what she was doing.
So she went straight
I'm
from
not even like a joke.
practice of straight from a practice of dealing with like the skin and burning it to going to the soul and burning the soul.
Oh. Doesn't she also like sell crystals for like an
Wonderful.
MLM or something?
No, it's essential oils.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe crystals too, but I know for sure essential oils.
Okay, that's a good racket, by the way. If you guys are looking to scam people out of their money, I definitely suggest essential oil MLMs. They're the best. They're a great way to let people on your Facebook page know that you hate them.
If you're trying to cut your friends list in half.
Yeah. Yep. Oh man. Okay, so this is gonna be the world's worst transition, but like we have to talk about what took up 15 minutes of the episode, and
The pots and pans.
well, there was the pots
No.
and pans, but there
Did
was
that.
also the conversation between JC and Bailey, where Bailey asked a question about saying what
The
I
M
guess
word.
is the M word. I'm not gonna the M word, and JC is like equivocating, saying the M word to saying a homophobic slur, and then also saying the N word. The problem is though, is he didn't say the N word. He said the actual word, and that made Bailey very upset.
He said he didn't say it the first time.
No, he did say it
He
the
did.
first time, and that's why she reacted
First time.
so. She reacted as if he called her that when
And to be clear,
he was giving a comparison of black
Right.
versus the N word, or gay versus the F word,
right,
or short person, little person, whatever it was, versus
Right.
the M word.
right.
So that was that, and
So both, I mean, to be clear, both of them used the
Yeah.
word that the other
Use
preferred them
all
to
the
use
words.
in the
They
context
all
of.
used all the words, basically.
But it was all an intellectual conversation. They were trying to just
Yeah.
find out which words are appropriate and not. And because Bailey used the actual M word instead of saying M word, it sounds like JC felt like, as a comparison, if I use the word, and that was never really communicated effectively between the two. I
No.
feel like Bailey still does not understand what JC was trying to say with that.
Yeah.
And you can argue
Yeah.
whether he was right or wrong, but I still don't think that was effectively communicated.
Yeah.
I thought, like, when I was listening to the conversation, it felt like JC was listening from my perspective, it's like, okay, JC made it very clear, like, that he was doing it for comparison. Really quickly, because we have someone who was asking got evicted. Winston got evicted last episode. So there was, like, a very clear comparison that he was trying to make to, like, put it in her perspective. But I think Bailey was just so focused on the fact that he used the word that's what she was focused on, not the context around what was being said, which is why the communication kind of shut down.
Even as she continued to say the M word over and over.
Which was horrible. It was, and all the arguments I was just gonna say, all the arguments that she was making about using the N word, they literally could have been turned, and JC could have been saying them, and it would have had it would have made the exact same impact. It would have made the exact same sense. And like Bailey, she was so focused on her mindset of, I don't like this word, don't use this word, that she wasn't listening to what was actually being said. She was trying to get a point across.
And I think just from what I heard and saw, that Bailey had a trigger reaction to just hearing the word, and it kind of shut her down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But between the two of them, like, I think JC had better resiliency in dealing with the conversation.
Yeah.
And Bailey I didn't feel that she did have a lot of resiliency in handling that conversation.
I feel like when you're coming from a place of education, and I have to deal with this somewhat as well. It's on a different scale. People ask me all the time, what word should I use to describe you? Is handicapped okay? Is you know is and like when you're educating somebody, I feel like you should be able to express the differences between words without having to censor yourself, because then you aren't able to fully educate. Now I understand completely that she might have had a more triggered reaction, and so therefore she's not in a space to educate. But yeah, I feel like they both were kind of like ships passing each other, and not really meeting in the middle of like this is where um, this is a constructive place to leave the conversation, because really they do have similar backgrounds, and they've both been prejudiced against, and I think that's where they left the conversation. But like, but yeah, it's just so much is brought up in the emotion of a word that we sort of saw this take 15 minutes of airtime from what could have been game talk, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think that they kind of had to spend this amount of time because Julie had already talked about. I think that she put out a clip saying that they were going to focus on like a race issue, or maybe it was on Thursday's episode that they were going to focus on a race issue on Sunday. So I think that they kind of forced themselves into this spot where they had to talk, where they had to have this conversation, and not only that, but they had to have a conclusion to the conversation. Shaun, can you take that away from her?
She's so cute.
They had to have like a clear conclusion to the conversation. That way it didn't just seem like they were doing it for TV, but they were actually trying to have like a conversation.
They were trying to be like a focal point for like, yeah, okay.
So that's why
there's a context here, though. I mean, Big Brother doesn't have a good history of handling this, and in a season when these words were being used maliciously and against people, they ignored it for too long and had to sort of do cleanup a few seasons back. So I think they felt like they needed to be, and it was an ugly season just all around.
That was ugly.
So, I mean, I'm glad that they were willing to give some screen time to it. And, the opinion of a privileged white dude is probably the last thing that's needed on all this. But I do think
that we don't have really any people of color to be on here to give a perspective.
Yeah, dang it.
Yeah.
I do wish that so often it becomes about comparing oppression, and rather than, I mean, I think they sort of ended in a place where they could connect on experiences that they had that were similar. Right. But so much of that conversation felt like, well, this word has hurt me more than that word has hurt you, was sort of the implication. Yeah. And I think it's unfortunate when it ends there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because I really I don't think that it's fair of Bailey to judge, because that's the message that I was getting from Bailey as well. Bailey was saying this word has hurt me more than the M word has hurt you, JC. And I don't really think that it was fair of Bailey to say that, because she doesn't understand his experiences. She doesn't understand what he's gone through. And once again, it seemed like she was more focused on herself than what the conversation was about. And it's because JC opted to use the actual word, which rather than saying the N word.
So let me just sort of jump in a little bit with, I guess, a comparison to my perspective. So a lot of the time when I'm dealing with people, I'll get into who is a less or more privileged situation. Like there's like this endless debate of, because I'm white, does that preclude me from, or does that exclude me from the difficulties of being disabled? And go ahead.
With what Dave Chappelle had said in the past, dealing with people with these kinds of conversations, and his argument was, it's a different kind of suffering. I don't think the two are comparable.
Right.
You know, I just don't think you can. I don't think you can compare them. I truly don't.
And that's the struggle of these sort of conversations. Is it becomes a conversation about who is more or less privileged than actually having a constructive conversation.
I mean,
but having covered this to the ground, I feel like we need to talk about Sam's Sam's
Oh,
okay.
Sam!
You beat me to it. I wanted to talk about the nominations. As Sam has delicately, chosen. Delicately, she has chosen them. I mean, she was very specific why she had chosen.
Haley and Caitlin.
Haley and Caitlin. And as we all know, they're both hussies.
Oh man!
They brought shame on their families.
Oh man!
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. First of all, okay. So to begin the episode, I had a huge crush on Sam. When I started to lose that crush is when she like takes a time machine back to the 1950s and says that she's going to make a decision based on how she perceives their sexuality.
The females
right
interacting with the males, which is very problematic all on its own. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's just really, really, really stupid. Like she speaks on behalf of the men that they should feel insulted. She says that there's something wrong with the way that Caitlin and Haley are acting, which isn't that. Caitlin is just a crazy person. We can get to that like on a separate thing, but the way that she's acting towards the men shouldn't be the cause of her nomination, and it shouldn't be. I don't know. I mean,
there's plenty of you could like drop something on the ground and like pick it up, and it could like say almost anything, and it would have been a better reason than what Sam had given, because she's done so many crazy things in the house. Versus Haley,
and then Haley, that was ridiculous.
Because Haley obviously, like, she came into the house as a single 21-year-old woman.
Yeah.
So
who can do what she wants.
Yeah. So the things that are the implications that Sam is giving, like, it's not okay, because it's not like she's done anything crazy. She hasn't gone around and like hooked up with every single guy in the house. Or made it seem like she's ready to hook up with every single guy in the house. And even if she did, like that still shouldn't be a main reason why you would want to put someone up.
Right. I mean, like you said, there's so many reasons she could have chosen, but to single that out is really, really disappointing, and it's problematic because it's gonna create this weird tension in the house. Like Haley was. I hope they show it, but she was distraught after hearing those reasons. She was like, "Look, I don't even know what to do now, because like I can't talk to Fessy because apparently I'm being seen this one way, or I can't talk to Tyler because I'm being seen this one way, or I can't like lay next to Scotty because Sam is worried about Scotty's little heart." And
which is so ridiculous. I mean, like, at that point, if you have someone who says, like, this is why I'm putting you up, like, you should recognize that, okay, like, you're going to view me this way, whatever. I know that I'm not doing anything crazy. Like, I would stand by all my actions.
All right.
Oh, man.
And, you know, in Sam's defense, okay, sure, she has some insecurities about being a female. I keep finding this. I keep hiding it. You know, sure, Sam has some insecurities about, you know, females, and, you know, being with men in the same house and laying together. Fine, I'll give her that. But when it starts coming from a place of, you know, Christian beliefs and Southern charm, you know, that's where it stops. That's where it stops right there, because Sam is, you know, notorious for playing the game from her heart. From her morals, you know, and that's definitely her downside to the whole thing. Now, was it wrong what she did? Maybe. I don't know. but it definitely made me upset.
Yeah,
I think it was more based on like the culture that she's grown up in, because she's from the South, which is more predominantly like male oriented, like more patriarchal.
right.
And so for example, the career that she's in a very male dominated career as well. So
Right.
so the values that have been instilled in her as a strong female, a female that does really well for themselves, who's independent, is a female who takes on male characteristics, like male independent characteristics. So by being, for example, by being a welder.
Yeah.
And like just things like that, like trying to be as independent as you possibly can. And it doesn't really seem like female characteristics fit in with that whole ideology that she's been promoting of being able to be independent and being a strong female.
So you think her perspective is these girls aren't being strong females because they're relying on the men?
Yeah, and she said it herself, like they're taking the easy way out.
Right. Okay.
They're flirting their way through lasting out this game as long as they possibly can.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think whatever her reasoning was, she's basically playing the wrong game. Big Brother is not her world. She's trying to impose a moral code on a game that is designed not to have one. And she's inevitably going to fail because of it. She's planted the seeds that I'm sure will lead to her eviction. If not now, then 2 or 3 weeks from now. Like this will leave a bad taste in their mouths, and I think she'll be lucky to make jury at this point. But it's disappointing that she takes the way she sees the world and wants to impose that on everyone else. Ultimately,
yeah,
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I think my disappointment comes from the fact that she seemed to be like this sort of beacon, at least to me, like a beacon of like progressive, like
sort of a forward-thinking
Southern progressive, and
I was projecting onto her, I think.
Yeah, and I think we both were. We're just like, oh no, and now we're super sad.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought you were one of the cool ones, but you're not as cool. But yeah, so I mean, I hope it blows over for her because I still think she's a wonderful human being. I just feel like her reasons for nominating don't need to be based in the Bible Belt. But
it would be really nice if she could be educated like in the Big Brother house as well, and not have someone like focus on a specific word that's being used, but actually have the conversation happen for her to kind of understand that it's like a female sexuality is okay, and males aren't the ones that
dictate that.
Yeah, and also like that the males aren't innocent. Like they are as equally in control of what's going on.
Right.
Like, the males aren't the ones that like they are like wild animals, where the females have to be in charge of the gate.
Yeah.
Like that's not how it is. So it'd be really nice if she could last longer, so that way that conversation could potentially happen. I don't know if it will or not, though.
I don't think Sam is in as deep as hot water as between everyone in the house that has upset the house. I feel like Angie is probably in more hot water than Sam.
Oh, for sure.
Because she physically upsets the entire house without having to say anything. And Brett made it right Brett made a good comment on that, is that when you are the one that's become the noisemaker in the house, and you're not just speaking your mind, but you're also taking up the space of everybody else in the house, it becomes an annoyance. Now Jason got away with it because he's Jason.
Josh.
Was it Josh? Josh.
From last season?
From last season, yes. Thanks. Yeah, Josh got away with it. So, but I'm pretty sure that's because he had a penis.
No, it's the thing
with Josh was that Josh and Rockstar. First of all, Josh knew to bang 2 pots and pans together and not a spoon. That was not effective noise making. She was expending way more energy than she needed to. But the other thing is that Josh, when he would do that, he was in I'm gonna mess with you mode. He was emotion was detached for the most part, and he was just I'm gonna make your lives miserable. And Rockstar her emotion was all in it. Like she wasn't being smart about it because she was too emotional, and for that reason, I don't think it'll be effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was half-hearted for sure.
And also, just like Josh already did it, find a different noise making thing.
For sure, right?
Like Josh did it better. Like and Evil Dick did it better before him. Like it's been done before. Like find a new thing. Like if you would have taken his favorite thing and like put it in the freezer, I would have thought that would have been probably more like something more vindictive and evil. Like whatever his favorite thing is, go hide it or something.
Right. Yeah.
But man, like it's I don't know, and it carries on for days. She
Is she still doing it?
No, she's stopped, but
Okay,
she
good.
did it for a few days, and there's been several verses added to the song. I'm not sure how many.
Are they all about her all about
his
micro
penis?
penis?
Yes, they
Which
all
that's
end.
also problematic. Like to
Seriously,
talk about.
what?
That's
Okay.
so ridiculous.
Yeah, that's,
Like
yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's the exact same. Like when it first happened, after the eviction was over, and Rockstar was trying to come up with like things to tell Brett. One of the things that she was like she kept repeating the same thing over and over, the same 3 things, and also she was just like, I can't, and so it's just a really low fruit to go for.
yeah.
There's so many other things that she could have gone after.
You know, I don't know if you meant for that to be. I don't know if you meant for that to be a pun, Kelly, but it was the low fruit.
And also, I will say that I feel like attacking Brett for his supposed privilege is like really, really, really bad. When there are times when you want to say that when it's meaningful and not because your feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
I will
would
say the sense I got, though, I mean, we remember it was last season, right? Was it Megan who left early, who was
right,
highly triggered, and it was clear that there were things outside of this game that were sensitizing her.
Yeah.
Things that she'd gone through, and watching how quickly she went to that and how emotional she was. I certainly don't know, but it seems possible that she's got some history that is
for sure.
really making her heightened in this. And I think that's the only way I can find to feel empathy for her, that if she's really just kind of freaking out because this is pushing some buttons.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure it is. I'm just saying, like, when you're being clear-headed, and she's certainly done it clear-headed a couple of times, where she's called Brett this privileged, yada yada,
Right.
And I feel like this virtue signaling to a certain point, because it's like you're just using that because it's the highest, like, it's the thing that you can say about him that's going to get the most traction, and you're not even taking into account what that really means, and saving it for a time where it would matter. Which
that's fair.
Kind of, I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way.
No, it definitely. It's just like any of the other terms, like the term triggered,
right?
Or the term white privilege, or the term racist. Like a lot of these words that they've kind of turned into. Oh man, I don't want to say like hot button words.
It's almost like a meme of itself.
Yeah, and these are like genuine situations that happen. And when every situation is overemphasized, then it fully loses its meaning. And that's kind of goes into the problem with social media, because now we see. I know that this is going off the topic, but like this Big Brother, we're talking about sociopolitics, but like with social media and the internet in general, like we see every single little bad thing that happens, and so these events which should be considered to be bad, but when we see it happen over and over and over again, they don't have as much meaning to them anymore. And it's the exact same thing with what Rockstar is doing, with saying the word white privilege and calling him Team Daddy. My daddy has a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like using these terms, when it doesn't necessarily apply, it ruins the meaning of the word.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and again, sorry, this has gotten a little bit political on this podcast, but Big Brother made us do it, you guys. Like,
that's true. You took us there, Big Brother.
We didn't want to, but the bottom
I'm always down to talk about this.
Oh yeah. Well, we know, and we love you for it, Kelly. Usually I don't like to mix my big brother with politics though, because I don't think they're compatible. Which
That's
is
true.
why it bothers me that Rockstar early on was talking about targeting Brett and Winston because they're Trump supporters in the House. Which, by the way, dumb reason to target somebody in a social experiment. And also,
Right.
and also, if you're gonna go that route, JC also is a Trump supporter. So, where?
How do we know these things? You guys know this stuff?
Oh, yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
the
they
feeds.
talked
It's coming
about
from the
it.
feeds.
Yeah.
He's got a now viral video about why he supports Trump, and
JC, Winston,
yeah,
or Brett?
JC.
Uh,
But
I
you know,
almost
that's unfortunate.
it doesn't really matter in terms of game. So it's just like, man, don't ruin my entertainment with the stupid politics that I'm trying to get away from. It's
This
just,
is my escapism. Come on.
yeah. But they made us talk about it, so we'll talk about it. And if you want to let us know why we're wrong, or in the comments, let us know, and we will try to learn.
Not me. I'm set. I'm set in stone.
Kelly's ready to go. He's ready to rock. He's
No, that's funny because he's set in stone.
ah.
Hey,
Oh man, I hope that you are the old man next season, Kelly.
I really want it.
Do it. You got to apply. You've just got to apply, and hopefully, it's a returning season, and you get to be in the house with Caitlin. I hope.
Oh, dude.
No, she'll be my ride or die. It'll be great.
Make it
Let me
happen.
hear Victoria. Straight up, you would totally kill it.
Oh my gosh. I want Amanda from season 15? 16? I want Amanda and Caitlin, and I want Lydia from season 11. And we're gonna
Lydia.
We're gonna go to the end. And
Lydia.
And
We're
Raven.
gonna be the Freaky Five.
Yes.
the Freaky Five. I like that.
So should we talk about, because that was basically the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Should we talk about
We should talk about
what happened on the feeds really quickly?
Yeah, let's go through really quickly and talk about. Okay, so we know who's on the block. We have a veto competition that is some sort of trivia competition, or
It was trivia?
or some sort of
Memory comp.
question memory comp thing.
Okay.
Where the last correct answer was bong, by the way.
Interesting.
So I don't know what that means, but apparently that was the last correct answer. And Fessy wins a veto competition.
Stupidly wins
Which he-
the veto.
Which he
Yeah.
should not be.
The one time
Yeah, because he's
his two crushes in the house are on the block.
yeah. Which, by the way, can we talk about how middle school this all is? Okay, so from my perspective, and tell me if I'm wrong, we have Fessy, who has Caitlin, who's giving him all the attention, and all of the affection that he could ever want. And he's so insecure that he doesn't want to let that go, but he's got this crush on this amazing girl named Haley, who isn't giving him all the attention, but is way more of what he wants. So
And they're
Fessy,
both vying for his affections.
Fessy, being the 12-year-old boy that he is going to say to Haley, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna use this veto on you, but you better rock with me." Which, by the way, is not the way you want.
Is that what he said?
So that's a Haley?
Yes.
Or Caitlin?
Yeah, you better rock with me. He says he's gonna use it on Haley.
Wait, rock as in have sex with?
No, as in, what does that
Like
mean?
it's gonna be on. He's doing a big little cowboy move.
It's gonna be me and you till the end. And Caitlin is, of course, super pissed off. She is flown off the handle. She's like, you know what? By the way, she totally told. This is the third guy she's told that she's in love with this season. She told Fessy that she was in love with him.
She has to be using it love you, I love you like a friend. like how you would say it, because there's no way that I don't know. Maybe she's crazy enough that she actually is in love with them.
Can we touch on that really quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Do we know what happened to her boyfriend? Because I keep hearing that he broke up with her.
He broke up
but
with her.
she doesn't know that. But Haley was actually talking about today.
Okay. My question is how do we know what happened there? What's going on?
Yeah. So his sister originally tweeted that like, hey, we see all the crazy stuff that she's doing on the feed. Stop messaging us because we get it. And then he came out and was like, yeah, everything that my sister said was true. And if you want to support me, then go listen to my music. He did a nice little plug in there.
Right.
So that legitimately happened.
And then he was like, listen, this is not stopping. You guys won't quit messaging me. So I'm done with Caitlyn, you know, but if you want to support me, here's my music.
Yeah.
He's asked for his likeness not to be used in the Big Brother house, so we won't be seeing any more pictures of Joe. So I'm waiting for the moment she wins another HOH.
Oh my god, yes.
Wait, go back again. Okay, his pictures being used.
Yeah,
for what?
In the house, like, you know, when you get HOH, you get pictures of loved ones. But she can no longer have a picture of him. So as soon as she wins HOH, she's gonna have to know.
She's gonna be like, wait, where's my boyfriend?
A couple of days ago, she's like, I would not be in this loving, lasting 5-year relationship with my boyfriend if I didn't understand how love worked. Right?
Haley was saying that if Caitlyn was acting like the way that she was, she'd be very surprised if Caitlyn came out to still have a boyfriend.
Oh, good for her. Good for her. Haley, by the way, who has Haley in the draft?
Not me.
That would be me.
She's looking good. Yeah, she's looking good to win. What's your team right now, by the way?
I've got Scotty.
Okay, looking good.
I've got Haley, and I've got Rachel. I picked Steve instead of Brett. But those three are sitting pretty.
Those three look pretty good right now. I'm really mad.
Rachel's nursing a crush on Brett for some stupid reason, but
yeah. Hey, I mean, we all kind of have a crush on Brett right now. Like, let's be real.
I'm still staying out of it. He's playing this guy as a character, but it's because it's really who he is. It's mostly just improvising, but it's not like he's playing another character. This is him.
I'm falling for it.
I would definitely seek Brett out as a friendship. Like, he would challenge me in many ways. Like,
yeah,
I think would do that.
I would challenge him.
Yeah, totally. I can see the new the bromance version too. So
I wonder who buddies with Tyler. Tyler is like
Tyler and I would be friends in the house for sure.
Yeah, it would be like Gaston and who is the little guy that follows Gaston around?
Lumiere. No, that's the candlestick. I know better than that.
Either way, all I'm saying is he's Gaston. I'm the little dude.
So okay, sorry guys, we've gone so off the rails, but so there's two very sort of complex plans if the veto is used.
When the veto is used, it is definitely being used.
Yeah, it's going to be used.
Because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
For winning it in the first place.
Yeah, so if Haley is taken off the block and Caitlyn remains, then Rockstar goes up. But if Caitlyn was removed from the block, Rachel would go up. I don't know why. I don't know why, but that's what I'm hearing, or what I've heard from Sam. She's sort of hinted at Tyler that would be the situation. She even told Tyler last night in the HOH room, and this is kind of crazy to me. She's like, look, I told everybody I wouldn't tell anyone, and that includes you. So I don't appreciate you like looking for information from me when I've already told you know. So Tyler's in a little bit of a hot spot right now with Sam, and the power of HOH is really gone to Sam's head. She thinks she's a goddess right now, and I feel like she's going to be in some trouble when she. steps.
I want to remind viewers too that Sam's power will be used this time around.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever goes out has a
Probably
chance to
coming
come
in.
back.
Probably coming back. It was so stupid of her to win. I get her reasoning. I still think it was really stupid of her to win.
Yeah. I did too.
That is. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I know I'm so eager. I'm so rude, but that's going to be a problem for Sam because whoever does have a chance to come back is not going to be happy with her. Like that's going to be one target on her.
Or they're not going to be happy with the house.
Could you imagine, by the way, let's just imagine the paradise of Big Brother feeds where Caitlyn gets evicted on Thursday. Tyler votes to evict Caitlyn, and Caitlyn comes back into the house.
Oh my gosh.
I would love it if there was only one vote to keep her and it was Bessie, and Tyler convinces her that that was her. I think that would be like the epitome of good feeds.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That would be that's a good episode. I like the way that sounds.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to see Caitlyn evicted. I'm really conflicted on whether or not I want her to come back because everything about her is like a scheming fraud pile of doo-doo. But like I just really don't like Caitlyn at all. I'm sorry.
I kind of want her to stay in this bubble of her thinking that she's with her boyfriend still long enough so she can stay in jury. Just because I know that like she's gonna be really freaking devastated when she gets out.
Oh, if she finds out live in the finale? Oh, that would be amazing.
They wouldn't do that.
Or just have her stay long enough, like you were saying, Jacob, so she can get another HOH.
Yeah.
Because that would probably be a big enough clue. That way we could see a reaction.
Yeah.
Isn't this terrible? I feel like it's terrible that I'm saying this.
No, because she deserves it.
Okay. Let me divert some of that terribleness onto myself. So Caitlyn, she's like super special, and she holds a special place in my heart. Her eyes are like Chihuahua's eyes, in that they are big, and they do this puppy dog thing whenever she gets furious or upset. And I love Chihuahuas. But when I see her face, it makes me want to die. I don't know what's with the eye. But Kayla's like, it's nothing against you. It's my fault. I'm a bad person.
Okay. Caitlyn, I'm going to make this very clear. I want you to come on the podcast. But I will say that,
again?
Yeah, I will say that I absolutely, absolutely despise what you do for a living. The fact that you think that you can be a life coach at 24 is disgusting. But please come on the podcast and prove to me why I'm wrong. Maybe my aura is just really, really red.
Yeah, your aura can't accept change right now. You gotta go cleanse your aura.
Ooh, am I hanging on to something in my life that I just
gotta let it
go? Oh man.
I think we are all hanging on to something that we're not letting go of, and it's the fact that Caitlyn, something with Caitlyn, I don't know.
Yeah, just something about her, man.
Oh man.
If we want to climb the rock wall of life, we have to drop the bags that we're holding.
Good one. See, you could quit your totally like reasonable job and become a life coach.
That's right. That was so much fun watching her try to like emotionally coach her through where to put her foot on a wall.
And like Rockstar was just like, yeah, I'm only trying to let go of this freaking wall.
And Haley's just like, you see that right there? Put your foot on that. And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I think I just find her so ridiculous that even when you guys are joking about her, like, I can't even laugh about it because it totally just blows my mind at how stupid it all is. And how
she believes her own hype though. Like I really believe she thinks that pigeon or that bird was like her ancestor, and that she sees the future because in her heart she really believes the universe has stopped what it's doing to help her win Big Brother. Yeah. And that is just it's so self-centered and entitled. I just can't even breathe.
Yeah. No,
Like,
she reminds me of like the chick from Forrest Gump who was a hippie and then did all that crazy shit and then ends up having a kid and becomes like a businesswoman who has cancer and the get cancer, but like your life right now is a shithole.
so yeah,
Wow.
here's the thing with Caitlyn for me. It's like okay, I know we've gone on, but like she's
We keep talking about that.
so wrong about all of her premonitions. Like, she's convinced that she's intuited that the power has been used. Bailey said you're full of it because you told me the power was used last week. Like, it's either you intuited it last week or you intuited it this week. And yeah, she keeps intuiting things that are totally incorrect.
Yeah.
She intuited last week that Haley was the flip vote, and it was Tyler, but because she's in love with Tyler, she can't see that his aura is all sorts of multicolored.
That's right.
But
Oh man.
anyway,
Anti-Tom Turd says that Caitlyn is cray cray.
anti-Trump
Anti-Tom. You guys try saying that 3 times fast.
Anti-Trump
Turd. Yeah, say that 3 times fast.
Anti-Trump turd. Okay.
You're totally right.
Caitlyn is cray cray. She is.
Oh man, I'm so exhausted from talking about her. I think you know what? I almost do just want her to leave because I'm so tired.
Can I try and make a comparison with Caitlyn?
Sure. As long as you don't say the N-word.
No, purpose. I keep watching the show right now. I'll have to divorce you if you do that.
Wait, what?
Because we're married, and it'll ruin the credibility of my character being married to somebody that says the N-word all day. It's just that can't be a thing. But Caitlyn, is she so in Portals? There's a cake that you're like supposed to get, but you never get the cake. Now, is Caitlyn like the cake where it's not real, or is she trying to it doesn't exist?
Say that last part again.
The cake is a lie. Caitlyn is a lie, yeah.
Yeah, is Caitlyn a lie, or is she trying to find the lie?
Both.
All of the above.
She is a lie, and she's trying to find the lie, and she's bad at both of them.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's too bad. That's really too bad.
So, I'm going to intuit, you guys. I'm getting a hit. I'm getting a hit, you guys. I feel like Grandpa Lou is gonna come to Caitlyn in a dream and tell her that Joe is tired of her bull, and then she's going to lose her mind, and even more than she already has, and try to make a baby with Tyler.
Is this going to be before or after she goes to the DR and gets a clue from them that her boyfriend dumped her?
After, because I don't think she can actually intuit it anymore. But she's going to blame it on a dream, because she did the same thing with another piece of information she got this last week.
Yeah, the thing about Winston and Brett going up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if anything, as Freud once said, dreams are the golden road to the unconscious truth. So.
Yeah, but her dreams aren't real. Her dreams are the lie. They're the cake, Shaun.
So I dreamed about going to Dairy Queen last night. So that means the universe is telling me that I need to go to Dairy Queen and get a blizzard.
If you manifest it, yeah.
Right. I need to work hard on that because that sounds really good right now. It's like 85 degrees. And I'm about to have like a cheesequake blizzard or something, I feel like. So guys,
oh yeah, dude.
The universe wills it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think we're done.
Yeah.
I think that we've had our daily podcast of Caitlyn ranting.
I just want to throw this in there real quick. I just miss you guys so much, and I apologize for talking. Like I've been on hiatus for a week and
No, you've been on a
in the
hiatus.
wilderness where there are
The
scorpions.
Yatus.
Yeah, I'm on the Yatus.
I'm glad you're back, Shaun.
We've missed you, Shaun.
It's good to have you back.
All right.
So we'll be back on Thursday with
when somebody's evicted.
someone. Well, they might not even be evicted. When just stuff goes down in the house, someone leaves and then they come right back in from winning that comp.
I hope it's a really hard comp and nobody comes back. That's what.
No, they're gonna come back.
I don't want them to. Though.
I know. I don't want them to, but they're gonna come back.
Okay.
Viva la Caitlin.
And on that, we're gonna end it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.